Those living rough on the streets face discrimination constantly with harassment by both the authorities and the public. Because of the need to survive on an hourly and daily basis, many turn to illegitimate activities like prostitution, being a voice in the romance online scams run by the Nigerians, and can be dependent on drugs to allow them to function. Other opportunistic criminal activities are used to earn a living, but mostly they are on the receiving end of discrimination, racially and sexually, and cannot rely on the charities and NGOs supposedly there to help them, but who most often abuse and take advantage of those most in need. These people need help, and though highly visible, are ignored by the authorities and regarded as an annoyance rather than being seen as in distress and requiring aid.
Not all people who live on the streets are hooligans or are criminals.
They mustn't consider that everyone homeless is because of drug addiction.
People are judgmental, they look at you, they think probably you're on drugs, you're a thief, they don't trust you.
The population of the homeless at Trinity is very diverse. I think some of the myths that we looked at was crime, drugs, things like that. Certainly the homeless population that we studied were not habitual drug users. I think they weren't particularly prone to crime either.
Why couldn't you go to one of the hostels that the government has set up?
Because of the skin color. Yeah, and it's not, well, we just help white people, because there's no other place that does it. If you go to, there's many places I know, Jesus Disciples, Manger, those places they take blacks and they put the whites out.
My father is in jail. What must I do?
Another day for Elise on the streets of Pretoria. She says she's 16, but she sells herself to men as a 14-year-old child. She's been doing this every day for the past 4 years.
What must I do?
This is not for you anymore. South Africa, it's for ours, for them. And that's why we're like this. I don't want to give my kids a life like this. I want to give them what they need, and I can't. I'm fed up with this country now.
SAPS has admitted nearly 400 of its members are implicated in corruption. It's made the announcement during a virtual parliamentary briefing. It's told the Standing Committee on Public Accounts that the majority of offenders are low-ranking officials.
Moet je van die werk af nou?
Ja, nee werken.
Huh?
Kan nie werken. Geen alles nie.
Waar gaan je naar huis toe?
Is net zo tijden doek. Ik paal wat je.
Why? Basile abantu labayazi ukuthi umphetho yamajawu uyawajamela.
Angifuna njame lapho. Khop.
Uyabonakala basi. Mara izingene ngibathi umphakathi. Uyalala. Abantu baziphiwa bayalala. Awunkinga.
Colonel Tsepo Mashego is the latest of the group to appear in court after he handed himself over to the police. He faces the same charges as the other 41 accused. Another police officer, Colonel Lawrence Tahane, was arrested on Friday alongside SAPS admin clerk Anna de Priya.
These are serious matters of violation of rights of our citizens. So when you report the location. Which police station you're at, which you are not attended to, will be able to defer your case to the generals of the police in the provinces who will zoom in and attend to the matter exactly in that police station where you have not been attended to.
Professor Monica Whitty is a global authority on the psychology of romance scams.
The criminals involved in this are definitely masters of manipulation. This is their job, right? And they're very good at it, and they're very proud of being good at it as well.
These Yahoo guys say they pray to God at times to get them clients that would bless them. They actually don't say anything illegitimate in scamming people. They believe it's not a crime, that is just a game.
It's a game to me, so it's fun. See, I didn't see Yahoo as illegal. The only thing illegal in it is when you scam. Sometimes you might meet a client that might just like you for who you are without you using anything. That's the grace of God now. Sometimes if the client does not give you what you want and you forcefully collect it from him, that's what I believe that is illegal.
Just for example, if a client asks me $200, if I want it, I can take the risk to send to her. Because I believe me sending that will make her confused.
Romance and dating scams. One of the most vile and prevalent scams in our world today. They've stolen over $200 million from Americans in 2019 alone. We're diving into the dating pool right now and are going to show you exactly how these romance scammers gain your trust, deceive you, and rob you of everything they can.
The rampant theft of images is central to the business of scamming. Retired US Colonel Brian Denny has had his image stolen and used in thousands of fake social media and dating profiles.
Military personnel are highly regarded. We're seen as trustworthy, dependable. So over the course of the last 2 years, I've reported over 3,000 accounts to Facebook of scammers using my pictures to steal money from women around the globe.
Brian Denny is among countless military personnel whose photos have been used by scammers.
This is being done at kind of at an industrial scale, and how do you stop it? What do you do about it? These are thieves that are using images to take advantage of people on a global scale.
Brian Denny has trawled through groups on Facebook where scammers trade skills and fake identities.
And they offer Facebook profiles for sale. They offer pictures of uniformed servicemen for sale. They offer the backstory and kind of how you get started. So it's all right there. It's in plain sight. It's not hidden.
When we first exposed Nigerian scammers in Lagos 6 years ago, they ran a simple but lucrative operation, sending dodgy emails around the world requesting money with the lure of a handsome return.
Sit down! Sit down!
But the swindlers have a new shtick. They've moved onto dating sites, and the cruel hook they use is the promise of love.
I suppose he absolutely had me by my heart. This guy was just telling me everything that I wanted to know.
He was saying everything he knew you wanted to hear.
Everything I wanted to hear, yeah. He was making me feel as if I was worth a person.
Basically, they call us fraud boys or game boys because we do fraud to get money. We scam.
From his tiny flat, Kwaku and his friend, who goes by the nickname Skidoo, use stolen photos to create fake identities to fool their victims.
I am Johnny, and I am a military man in the US, so sometimes I'm in Palestine, sometimes I'm in Iraq, and we are helping keeping peace in that country because there's war going on and all that. So that's my main occupation. Online, yeah. So I search for clients. I want somebody to be my lover, yeah, my fiancé and all that.
You said you search for clients. What's that?
The word client is used for people you meet online.
You don't like to use the word victim?
No.
No. The victim
doesn't sound pretty.
A client is somebody, a business partner who who maybe will bring money or something. That's why I use the word clients. Some are divorced and some are, their husbands are dead and all that.
So the best targets are people who are divorced,
who are divorced or widowed, yes.
Their husbands are
dead. They're dead or divorced.
These people are in a place in their life where they are lonely, they're looking for love, something...
But does that make them silly?
No, it doesn't make them silly. There's nothing wrong with having friendships and falling in love with someone online. That's not the issue.
While it's easy to say that couldn't happen to me, figures tell us otherwise. More than $28.6 million was stolen from Australians in dating scams last year. The average loss was more than $19,000, and women have been hit the hardest. They make up more than 3/4 of all losses.
The danger arises when that love is blind. Rosalie's desperate heart made her ignore all the warnings. Even after all we told her, Rosalie had been back at the computer being wooed by a new man calling himself Richard.
There is very little out there by way of support for people such as myself, where, you know, we're stigmatised.
Rosalie, please, turn the computer off. If you can't see the whites of their eyes and they're not buying you a drink, don't talk to them.